So I know you guys are disappointed that we're not having class today. And so my concern was primarily that there was some confusion on the homework, and I thought if I did maybe the Buckeye Metals portion of the homework for you in a video and sent it out, that would help you all in putting together your homework or the rest of it. Because of the snow and the class cancellation, the ice, the homework will be moved to the next time we meet, which will be Tuesday. So if you've got it uploaded and you see this video and you're like, oh, I didn't do it right, and you need me to like turn it into a draft so you can fix it, I'd be happy to do that. Just email me. But I'm just in this video, I'm just going to walk through the next piece of the case so that you all can see what I was expecting you to do, and maybe that'll be helpful. So I'm looking at the case itself, and the part I'm going to do is this one less competitor, and it talks about, okay, we're going to purchase Buckeye Metals. The current share price will run at about 750 million, and I'm just going to highlight the pieces here that are important. So what that means is, in addition to the existing 300 million that we have, we will have to finance the remaining 450 million. So let's highlight that. So that means we're going to borrow through a bond issue 450 million. The annual interest cost on our bond issue is 10%. The bonds will be paid back over 5 years with each annual payment at 120 million. So I kind of roughly figured the payback on this for you, so you didn't have to do the payment function. Notice that Buckeye generates 180 million each year in free cash. However, the Wolverine estimates that incorporation of their patented manufacturing systems can increase cash flow. So what we're expecting is, in year 1, 180 million, years 2 and 3, 200 million, and years 4 and 5, 220 million. So that gives me the information I need to fill in another section on the spreadsheet. I'm going to pull this out of the way for a second, and here we are on the spreadsheet. What I'm going to do is copy the forge section. So I'm just going to select from B5 all the way down to I15, right click copy, and then I'm going to paste it in right below that. So here we go, paste, and this will be purchase Buckeye. So now what I need to do is I'm going to fill in this section of the spreadsheet based on the numbers from the case. So the first thing I have is the one-time costs. Well, we're going to spend, and this is maybe a little tricky, we're going to spend $750 million, but we're actually only spending 300 million of our money. The other money is coming in from a loan, and then we're going to pay that back over the course of the entire, actually over the next 5 years. So right here I'm going to put in equal to minus 300 million. So that's our initial cost, and then we're going to have a recurring cost of 100 and 120 million for each of the 5 years. So minus 120, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's my negative 120 million, and I'll just run that across the whole thing. So you can see that this is the cost of the purchase. So 300 million up front, and then we have to pay back the 180 million for each year. Now we also know that it's going to generate 180 million in the first year, and then in years 2 and 3, 200 million, and then in years 4 and 5, 220. Okay, and so what that does is the rest of this is going to update pretty much automatically, and give us some feedback there. Now, what interest rate do we use on our net present value? The interest rate was 8% from the previous case. However, in this instance, because we're borrowing at 10%, I think we're going to need to return at least 10%. So in my NPV, I'm going to change my interest rate to 0.10. And that means that my present value functions here are also messed up because I'm going to need to use a 10% interest rate. Let's go ahead and type interest rate right here, interest rate, and then put in 10%. And now I'm going to reference that cell instead of just typing it in hard. So C16. And then the present value here, I'm also going to make that C16 instead of C3. And copy it across. Okay, so our net present value is 11 million, and the internal rate of return is somewhere around 11%. Now I'd actually like to see what the specific rate is. I think a couple more decimal places here will help us out so that we can see better what the interest rate is, and that's better. So the internal rate of return on our first one was 11.93. The internal rate of return on this purchase is 11.33. And that's basically how you would do each of these sections. So when you're ready to do the next section, I would just copy and then paste. And now you're ready to go on. You might need to change the location of the interest rate again. We've got this guy locked in, so that means every time we copy it, we're going to have to change it. So let's see, 30. Copy across. And then also change it here. Oh, that's good there. So that's pretty much what I was expecting you to do. And then do this for each of the different options in the case. So here's our case back. So you're going to do the same thing for the new location, the same thing for the bonds, and then reducing the debt. I don't know that you really need to do the whole cost benefit analysis on that, because we know that the return on it's going to be 8% per year. So you can just look at it as an internal rate of return is 8%, and then you can now compare all of those and decide which particular item or items you think the company should do. So that pretty much wraps that up, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. The case study is now due on Tuesday, and again, if you have if you've already turned it in and then locked it in so you can't change it, and now you want to change it, let me know, and I will set it back to a draft so that you can delete it and replace it. Hope you have a good weekend. Thanks.